Mini Jake, the tribe has spoken.
Fuck you, Kevin.
Aw, fuck you too, sweetie.
I'm JJ, one of the original Tribe of Nerds members. You can catch me on Marvel, Pokemon, and other gaming podcasts.
What up? It's Josh, resident superhero nerd, but I also dabble in the occasional super villain as well.
Some may know me as the Chaos Gremlin, but really I'm just Joe King.
Pikachu, use Bolt Tackle! Good job, Pikachu!
On the Tribe of Nerds. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Shane and I are back for another Survivor What If episode, and this is a great one. We've got one of the OG Survivor Challenge beasts with us, Terry Deitz. Terry, welcome to the Tribe of Nerds.
Hey Jake, hey Shane, how's everything going?
Good, excited to have you here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here.
Glad to be hanging with you guys tonight.
Yeah. So we're going to ponder the Survivor multiverse. What if you change one thing and what would happen in Survivor history? So Terry, your first one, we're going to go all the way back to Survivor Panama, season 12. And we know you had the idol from Exile Island, which back then it worked as like a super idol. And you basically got to play it after the votes were revealed. The what if is, what if you had passed it to one of your Lamina tribe mates? Like, we know that you kept it for yourself in case you didn't win a challenge, but what if you had saved one of your allies? How would that have played out?
You know, I thought about it all the time, and in talking to other Survivor members, I am sure that literally they're going to tell you our minds are going a million miles a minute on how to go about certain things, who to talk to, why to talk to them, what you want to set up, and everything else. My biggest thing with giving it to a Lamina member was that, especially once we got to the merge, it was 6 versus 4, and it was really difficult. I was going to give it to Danielle or save it. So I wasn't actually going to give it to anybody at Lamina, but I needed to get her and possibly Bruce over to our side. And it couldn't be just one, it had to be two. And Bruce would have done it if Danielle did. But I would have had to give Danielle the hidden immunity idol at that point. And she didn't want any part of it. She was in with Courtney and Sari, and pretty much everything I talked to her about, she went and talked to other people about. So she wasn't secretive. All 6 of them were not really interested in, because they were very afraid of what the rest of their tribe mates would do to them. Obviously, Shane told Courtney he'd go to her shitty little apartment and kill her. It's like, oh, come on now. It'd be pretty funny. My biggest thing is I should have given it to Shane. So when we won when I won the family challenge, and I was able to bring Shane and his 12-year-old son, at that point he was willing to go, and I should have said, listen, I'm going to give this to you. You will give it back to me. But for this tribal, I'm telling you, I need you around, and I'm going to give this to you. If you have to use it, fine. If you don't, you give it back. And he had me so convinced that I believe Danielle was going to go, and that he was safe with Aris and everybody else. He had me so convinced that was going to happen. I should have said, regardless, Shane, here's the idol for tonight. If you don't need it, give it back. And that was my biggest strategic mistake in the entire show, right there. That and another mistake I made in the final Immunity 4 challenge literally cost me the $1 million. And so I look back on that going, it's not like you can review film and be better next week, or the next game. That's it. You get one shot at it. So I made an immunity a challenge mistake that cost me $1 million, literally by 1 inch and 1 second, and then a strategic mistake not giving that idol to Shane to keep him safe, because at that point we were close, we really were, and it was kind of funny. We're on that reward challenge, and he and my wife are like chatting up strategies and stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, she's like way into the game, and it was pretty interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe that's the interesting what if. I mean, if you do play it for Shane stays, and it's either Danielle or Aris that go.
Yes.
That does change the entire game, obviously, and it probably puts you in the position to be in the final too at that point.
Right. Yeah. I my thinking is, okay, Shane stays, Aris leaves at that point, and it's me, Shane, Danielle, and Sari in the next challenge, which I lost to Aris by 1 inch and 1 second because I made a mistake that cost me about 35 to 40 seconds on the challenge course, and I had to go back and look something and come back, and it really doesn't show it on TV, but Aris put the last puzzle piece in. I put the last puzzle piece in, and but he literally, and the mistake I made literally was 1 inch in measuring something, and so it's like the football game that ends on the 1 inch line. You still lost. It doesn't matter. I made the mistake. Nobody else did. So so it would have been me, Shane, Sari, and Danielle in that challenge. So things definitely would have changed a bit for sure.
Yeah, if you end up making it to the final 2 that season, like you were so close to it, do you think you win against basically anyone that's left there? Or is there anyone that
Yes. Yes. Agreed. I believe I would have won against anybody. And they did that straw poll with Danielle, and I think it was 7-2 or something like that. And then it would have been either then again. I would have never brought Sari. She was very a likable person and stuff. And so even winning the last thing, if it was like me, Sari, and Danielle would not have brought Sari either, because it's basically like, oh, here's Sari, here's $1 million.
Right.
Nobody was going to bring her to the final.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I still think I would have beat her in the final, but no.
Yeah. She's one of the best to never win this game for a reason. So
she you know what, I'm not a big fan of that kind of game, but she's awesome at it. And you know what, the game has many different ways of winning, and she hasn't won yet, but she's good, and you never know, somebody else that does that same strategy and stuff. So Yeah.
What were your thoughts, like the very next season? You see they change it to a final 3 and not a final 2.
It was. I made the mistake that cost me the money, and both the strategic mistake and the in the challenge. So I didn't look at it go, wow, geez, if it was a final 3, I could have been there. Well, you know what? If I didn't make the mistake, I wouldn't have had an issue. But I did make that mistake. So I didn't make like a big deal of it. There were a lot of people that did make a big deal. I know for a fact that there was a lot of editing when I did end up getting voted out on how they were going to have to now edit stuff. But, stuff like that goes on every season, almost every season, where, they got to hedge their bets and do their work. And if it gets them to the final in their editing, then they're able to keep it. If not, hey, they got to work a little harder to edit edit things the way they want them to tell a complete story.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shane, you want to ask the second chances question?
Sure. Yeah, so you come off of Panama, and then we all wait 10 years almost, and you finally get your chance again on Cambodia. Very well deserved, but unfortunately, you had to leave early. So we definitely would love to hear, like, what if that tragedy didn't happen and you got to play the full game? How do you think it plays out, and like, what was your strategy moving forward there?
Right. Well, first of all, I want to put it out there. My son is coming up on 10 years of heart transplant, and he's doing wonderfully. He's a stud. He's like 6'2", 210 pounds. And, he looks like he would probably normally look. The heart was a very, very good match, and the people at Boston Children were just awesome. And now he's actually out in San Jose working with the people in Stanford in their transplant area. Obviously, like literally, I got home. Jeff took me off the island, right in the rib, in the small raft, and then we went out and met the bigger yacht. We tooled over to the main island. Literally, got all my crap back, got passports. Dr. Eliza, the psychology doctor, was there, and literally, we took that yacht back into the Koran area, and then we got 2 hours in a hotel room to like basically take a nap, get showered up, 4-hour SUV ride to Phnom Penh, 4-hour flight to Hong Kong, 16-hour flight to Boston. And literally I was in the hospital with my son for about 90 days. And on 9/11 it was 2015, my son got his heart transplant. So that was he had 2 open heart surgeries. The second one was the actual transplant. So I didn't have a lot of time to like really think about that till like later on when we were all in a safe zone, right? One of the cool things was Jeremy comes to the hospital. He and his wife Val and their 2 kids, and they came to Boston Children's for a visit. It was before Danny had his heart transplant, so he was recently home, right? He is skinny as anything, and I'm like, oh, Jer, come on now, you are skinny. I know you went far, and so I know how to play the game, and I didn't want to bust his balls, so I just kind of asked a couple of questions and danced around a couple of things, and literally, I didn't know if he for sure won, but I'm like, oh my God, I looked that skinny when I went basically almost to the finals. Yeah. I know he got close. And so that was pretty cool. And again, once like we were in a safe zone and stuff, I could start thinking about, hey, I wonder how that would have happened. And literally, oh God, what's her name? The lawyer, pretty lawyer with the dark hair. She got voted off the next night or that previous night. She got voted off. And and so it's kind of, and then they merged like the day or two after I left.
Right.
So again, I literally did, until I watched the show, I knew nothing about what ended up happening. And first of all, the show got a little tougher. Before I left, like a couple days before I left, which I left on day 12, the monsoon started coming in. So it started raining. And, even though it's maybe only 85 degrees, but when you're wet and there's a little wind, hypothermia comes in, and when they finally got to that merge, they show them like there's like 10 people huddled up like nut to butt in the hooch, and trying to keep warm, and fish back. Steve's feet are swollen because they're constantly wet, and I'm like, you guys don't look like Survivor All-Stars. You look like a bunch of rookies. I mean, you need to build a shelter just for the fire. And then you need to build a shelter for yourself. You knew these monsoons were coming. What have you guys been doing? Kind of even back, that's almost old school. Like, you needed to survive shit. Like, you really needed to survive stuff. And in my game, that I'm all about that. Like, you can't handle the survival part of it. That's not my fault. That's one of my strong points. And you guys need to go cry for your mama and go home. ring the bell. I quit. I'm done. Cause this is, and so Jeff made him that, deal where if they sat out, we'd get you fire, we'd get you wood, we'd build a shelter for you and all this other stuff. And I kind of thought that was crummy. But in saying that, if I'm still there, I'm loving that. I'm loving the hardship because you know what? It's like embrace the suck. Let's go, guys. This is real survival, tactics and everything else. So again, that's part of my game. So they had that merge. And my thing was I wanted to get together with Jeremy. I wanted to get together with Wigglesworth. I wanted to get together with Savage and Joe and Keith and Cass. Cass is a former Navy person. And, being a Navy guy, it's not that we didn't see eye to eye on things. She was just in a different position than me, and we were never able to really come together. So I thought if I was able to get together with those folks, things were going to go a lot better. And so again, I didn't dwell on it for a long time, but then when I did dwell on it, I'm like, wow, we might have been in a pretty good position to make a run at this.
Yeah.
And to see where it went. And again, as things got harder, I think that would have helped a lot toward my game and everything. I think Abby Maria, one of the challenges, it was like that pyramid thing that you're stepping on either side all the way up to the top. And I think it was she and Joe at the end, but it was like pouring rain and windy and nasty. And I'm like, oh, I like that stuff. That's very good. I like that stuff. So I think that part would have worked out for me had I gotten that far. And I pretty much think I could have, but we'll never know. And so that's about it. I mean, what else can you bring up about 31? That there was a lot of cool things going on there.
What was it like heading into the season? Because you know who's in contention to be there, but you don't know who's actually going to be there. Were people calling each other up all the time, or?
All right, so you not there were some people you didn't know that were going to be on it or not. So but even if you talk to them, you would gain some insight and everything else. You want to, I told Jeff right before, in the pregame interview, we're out on the island and I'm like, oh, you got, the production crew. I was like, you guys got to check this out. I said, I got a friend, one of their sons plays football and lacrosse with my son, and his little brother is a huge Survivor fan, and he made me up a dossier, basically a bio page of every single one of the people, including the ones that didn't get voted in, but everybody that knew who was who. Oh yeah, I had an info sheet, a bio on all these people and what they did in their game and strong points and weak points and everything else. And it was. So before the game, I had all of that, and I'm just memorize it in my head and sticking a name to a face and everything. And it was that part. It was pretty cool. I felt like I had a step up when I showed up in the game, and then. That whole other thing with Abby Maria and the being on the beach with Varner and all of that when, I felt Abby Maria kind of got in a fight with, what's her name? Sharon, and a little bit of PG kind of jumped in on it. I think she was trying to referee it, but eventually it wasn't kind of looked at by Abby Maria that way. And I literally I get up to go to the bathroom, and Abby Maria's crying out on the beach. And she was just basically, they embarrassed the shit out of her in front of everybody, 10 other tribe members, and she's literally crying. They're bullying her in my viewpoint. And I went to the bathroom. I started going back to the hooch, and I'm like, you know what? She's out on the beach all alone, crying. I was like, this bullshit. You know, this is Survivor. It's a game. You know, nobody berates and humbles and bullies people like that. That's just crap. And you know, I went out to the beach, and Abby Maria and I had a big argument that day. Woo and I were sitting down, and she came strutting up with her stuff, and you know, she laid into us, and I'm like, finally, I ended up shaking her hand after that. I said, you know what, we're going to agree to disagree, but we may end up working together. And no shit, that big argument between those girls happened that night, and then kind of continued happening in front of the rest of the tribe, and they're like verbally beating the shit out of her, and she's crying on the beach. So I go out there, and I am literally out there for about 45 minutes to an hour, and we're talking about nothing about Survivor. We're talking about how beautiful it is, the stars, the beach, the nice water, and then like, wow, you know what? This is Survivor, but what a cool romantic situation, and yeah, this sucks. What happened to you sucked, and blah blah blah. And finally, I said to her, I was like, listen, Abby, I know you and I, you know, had that argument today, but you know, I know Varner's kind of out on the outs, and he's like 20 yards down the beach sleeping. Why don't you, how would you like it if you and I worked together? She goes, oh my God, we could get like, I said, I could get Woo, and I could get PG, I could get Varner, and you and me. So that's like 5 or 6 people, you know, like, could we do that? And literally that night on the beach, we solidified that thing. And I was probably, after Vetus, going to be the next guy to go. And then that next tribal, I went like from worst to first. And, I got very lucky, but you know, it was just a human thing. It started out as just a human thing, and
Absolutely.
you know, yeah, I don't know. I just hate watching people getting bullied and everything else. But yeah, it ended up all working out. So that was another reason why, like, you know, Abby and I did like a pinky promise right there. It's like, yeah, wherever I am, I got your back, and she said the same to me. You know, and then we got Varner involved, and Woo was with me already and stuff. So we were going to go. We were going to run with it. And, you know, and then everything kind of hit, you know, the shit hit the fan with me and everything else. But, yeah, it was another reason why when we merged, I like, we would have went to the merge. Abby Maria was there. Savage was there. Jeremy, Joe, Keith, Woo, you know, so anyway, it looked promising.
Yeah, I think you would have made a deep run with that group. I really do. So
it would have been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Terry, for hopping on with us. This has been great. So
well, I appreciate the call, and you know, I hope you guys you know what? The tribe has spoken. Keep it going, guys. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night now.
Yeah, we'll see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.